Lagos is a metropolitan city with a population of about 16 million people. People relocate from other parts of the country to come start their business in the commercial hub of the country. Lagos is synonymous with traffic. Little wonder people mount on the fastest means of transportation, motorcycle, when commuting. But the government of the day has enforced a ban on these means of transportation.
This is not the first time the Lagos State government will be placing a ban on motorcycle operations in the state. Ikeja, where we are now, is one of the local governments where the government has restricted the operations of motorcycles. Now, Okada, motorcycles, popularly called Okada, are the fastest means of transportation in a state like Lagos. Some respondents have divergent views about the operations of motorcycles. Some say the tricycle operators now use it as an avenue to exploit them.
The banning of the Okada is not easy. One, because hold up is everywhere. Could you imagine? I want to go to Allen. I need to trek because there's no Marwa no they go that place. I need to trek to go there, so it's not easy. One, number two, when you ban the Okada, what the people when they drive Okada, waiting one minute and they drop.
It's actually quite stressful for people living in busy cities like this, like Ikeja. It's very stressful. Before you can get maybe keke, but when you even get it's even quite expensive than the normal, than like a junction. She was telling me just now when we were coming that they took 500 from Ikeja under bridge here to Allen, somewhere around Allen for 500 naira, and usually we would have taken it from here to our hostel direct for 100 naira.
No, I love it. Though we are passing through stress, but I love it. It reduces accidents, it reduces stealing.
I'm not happy that they banned Okada because as in, that is the way of the, but they are rough ones, though there are still good ones that will do Okada, so they have to consider them.
In 2006, the Bola Tinubu government announced a restriction on the operating hours as they were banned from operating between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. every day. In 2012, the administration of Babatunde Fashola placed a total ban on the commercial operation in the Ikeja axis of the state. Under the Akinwumi Ambode's administration in 2017, the government announced a ban on motorcycle activities on major highways, bridges, and roads. Again, in 2020, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in January placed a ban on the operations of motorcyclists and tricycle riders in 6 local government areas, 9 local council development areas, and 10 major highways across the state with effect from the 1st of February 2020.
There's no way you survive in Lagos without a bike, which is popularly called Okada. We've seen even highly placed individuals in the course of not missing their flight, taking bike to get to the airport so as to meet up with their flight. So there's, even in the course of campaign for public offices, there is no governor that has been elected in Lagos, to my knowledge, since the advent of this present democratic experience, that have not had cause to use Okada or what have you. The whole essence of state is to protect the lives and property of the citizen, to put in place safety net for people to go about their normal businesses, and also the net that will apprehend people with criminal intentions. That's why you have a state, and that's why you have government at various levels, whether local, state, and federal. So it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that those that want to go about their legitimate business go about their legitimate business, and those that want to do otherwise are arrested. Now, and that's the first responsibility of government. Now, government using the excuse that people use Okada for criminal tendencies. What is the percentage of those that use Okada for criminal tendencies compared to those that use it for their legitimate business? These are you must crunch the numbers. But we live in a society whereby people work based on sentiment and not based on data. And then people just wake up one day and they come up with a policy position.
It is almost 2 years. The current administration is doing all within its powers to restrict their movement. This is not unconnected to the death of a sound engineer, David Imo, who was killed in May by Okada riders.
If you want to place a ban on Okada, you look at one, what strategic significance does this mode of transportation does it provide for Lagosians? Two, what is the security implication for this mode of transportation? You have to outweigh this and look at and balance it out. We don't have a solid mass transit system in Lagos. That's for a fact. Two, our roads are not properly connected. We don't have good network of roads. The only means of transportation we have that you have 90% of Lagosians that they use is the road. Our waterways are not heavily utilized. The rail system has not called in full steam. The blue line, for example, government could have come up with this ban when the blue line comes into full operation. Then you understand that some of the commuters will make use of the blue rail line. Some will use the railway by the federal government, and some will make use of the waterways. But this holistic ban, without providing an alternative, we put a lot of Lagosians through pain.
The enforcement of the ban are on 6 local government areas, which are Etiosa, Ikeja, Surulere, Lagos Island, Lagos Mainland, and Apapa, as well as 9 local council development areas.
If the opposition party can cash in on this and tell them, you know what we are going to do? We are going to regulate Okada. We are not going to stop you from operating, but we are going to limit the time with which you operate, and we are going to regulate you, and we are going to register you, and you are going to pay money to state government. I'm sure the Okada riders will take to that, and they will join the opposition in voting against the party. I'm sure. I'm sure of this. After all these primaries and the rest of it, when electioneering campaign comes, they will relax this.
Time will tell if the enforcement of the ban has come to stay. Grace Paul Adebayo, ImpactTV News.